Until midnight, this is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley on 882 6PR.
9221 is our telephone number. Jackie.
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
I'm 65 years old. I haven't been into a shop for probably 4 years.
You haven't physically been into a shop for 4 years?
No. I have 4 children and 7 grandchildren. Every single present I have bought them has been online.
So how many years did you say it was since the last time you physically went into a shop?
I reckon 4 years. Oh, actually, I tell a lie. I had to go into Bunnings last week. That's a nightmare for me. But I did have to go and buy some seed raising mix because I needed it instantly.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you can't get the sausage sizzle online, can you?
No, you can't, sadly. I buy everything online. I buy my clothes online. I buy all my presents online. I buy everything online because I used to shop in Subiaco and the prices were so horrendous that I just went and looked for another alternative. I mean, I bought sunglasses to wear to golf for $65 that in the golf shop in Perth, I won't mention their name, were $269.
Gee. I know golf gear can be quite expensive. I know it pays to shop around for my favourite golf shirts as well.
Yeah, I mean, I have been attacked by people that have said, oh, my God, if you shop online, you're going to do everyone out of a job. Well, I'm only doing out of a job the people that were greedy. I mean, I get everything online, everything, apart from my groceries. And I don't go to Coles or Woolworths. I usually try and go to the farmers market. That's another big bugbear now because now they're not just farmers markets. But anyway, that's another issue. But it pays to shop online. I mean, you save a fortune.
So you're not telling me something I haven't been told 1,000 times before, but it's interesting that for somebody like yourself who would not typically be thought of as a person in the age group that adapts to online, you clearly have, and you obviously see the advantages to it. I would suggest you're part of an ever-growing group, Jackie.
65 is the new 45, Chris. Get over it.
Oh, that's all right. That makes me about 30, so that's all good.
I'm
going with you. Hey, trust me, you don't have to do a sales pitch on me. Sold. Good on you, Jackie. Thanks very much for that. It's a nice time to bring you in, Ben.
Yeah, it is. It folded in very nicely. Yeah.
Yes.
Online shopping is becoming a bigger thing now because the companies are becoming more adept at offering the online shopping experience. And, even like Amazon, it's interesting. Amazon started off at selling books, and now they sell absolutely everything and then some. And it's just the way that they've exploded, and they've taken the properties that they already own and then sort of pivoting it. And that's how we've got things like the Amazon Elastic Compute and storage systems, because they've taken the systems used to drive the Amazon bookstore and they've opened it up to everyone else.
Look, at this stage, the only obstacle I see to things like online shopping for groceries is, if Bernadette goes to buy fruit and vegetables or something, always wants to check them. And I've sort of been given, I'm quite highly trained on spotting a good lettuce and stuff like that now.
Yeah.
I imagine there'd be a lot of people who wouldn't be too happy relying on somebody else to do that, especially if all they want to do, say, for example, is just get the lettuce out.
Yeah.
However, if we can overcome that, we're just about to overcome everything else. But I'm guessing that there are not insignificant numbers of people who are quite prepared to accept whatever lettuce, and I'm using lettuce as a good example, whatever lettuce they happen to decide to put in there.
Yeah, well, a lot of the stores, as far as I understand, they try to preempt this by making sure that whatever they pick is of the best quality. Because if they pick something and put like a squishy apple in your groceries,
no, you don't want that.
You're going to be sending it back, and you're going to be getting a really big pasting on social media for trying to sell basically a shonky product. So the quality control, I would say, for the online shopping, especially in groceries, would be exceptionally high. And because it does eventually happen, when there's a mistake, they rectify it and they do it quickly, and they try to do it to really make sure the customer is happy. Even though they made a mistake, they try to really make up for it.
See, because I wonder how a lot of this is going to play out as we go forward. because the conversation, for example, like the conversation I was having with Barry Urquhart a bit earlier,
Yes.
are we really talking about something that's going the way of the dodo anyway?
Well, look, let's have a look at Amazon again.
Okay, obviously we're talking over a long period of time.
Yeah.
And these things tend to be evolutionary rather than revolutionary, but nonetheless, are we still looking at the future and saying, well, okay, the future is that people will do stuff online, they will shop for the best deal, and they won't give a rat's in the long term whether or not somebody loses their job?
Look, I think there's going to be some changes, and that's not hard to predict. But if we go back and have a look at Amazon, now Amazon started off by selling books online, and then they started selling stuff through the Kindle network. But that doesn't mean we've seen the end of bookstores. Bookstores, even though there's less of them, they are still there. So you get the real boutique bookstores, the ones that really make that experience worthwhile. They're still thriving. So there's like Barefoot Books down in Bustleton, and there's like Elizabeth secondhand bookshops.
So we're talking about niche bookstores that are filling a specific void?
Absolutely, yeah. So
I mean, personally, I still like reading a book. I'll read something online quite happily.
Yep.
But I do like the experience of reading a book simply because I grew up with it.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's right. And it's still a good experience. So even my kids, being electronic, digital natives.
And having a dad like you, yes.
They still will read books because they still enjoy books. There's something about it. And I think it's going to be the same thing with certain stores.
I wonder if it'll be a bit like vinyl records, that books might actually be really cool retro in years to come.
Oh, books are timeless. They are absolutely timeless, and I think we'll see collector's edition books or very special books that will always be in print, regardless, and you'll always have like the special leather bound or the ones in a case or that sort of thing, and I think it'll go well. I can't see traditional retail dying because of online retail. It'll have to adjust, though.
I do see that there are people who enjoy... Look, I've never enjoyed shopping.
No, me neither.
No, it's something you have to do.
Yeah.
But there are people who genuinely enjoy it.
That's right.
Hello, Gary.
Yeah, g'day. Just thanks for your show.
Pleasure.
Talking about Amazon that's coming to Australia, I don't know, they're probably in Melbourne or by now, but their idea, they worked out that people do like to see what they're buying.
Yes.
So what you do, you go along to their shop, they've got absolutely everything. You pick up your butter, what you want, you key it into your phone, you pick up the margarine, you pick up the vegetables. You don't actually take them home, you just look at them, what you want. Key it into the phone, go to the counter, tell them about it, take it off your phone, pay for it, go home, they deliver it. So that you actually see what you're buying, you touch what you're buying.
Yeah, they are. There's a bit of a crossover with that as well. So you can order it online, and this is all in America, and this is using the Whole Foods grocery business.
Yep.
So because they've bought Whole Foods completely, they're using the Whole Foods supply chain, and then they're folding it into the Amazon distribution network, and they're offering Whole Foods delivery to your door, which is fantastic. But they've taken it a step further. They've got a retail store where you can go in, and it can be groceries or it can be like just normal hard goods, and there's no cash register. There are no cashiers. It's just a store. It's like a little warehouse. You walk in, you grab something off the shelf, and you can walk out. What it does is they've got cameras throughout these stores, and they using AI and all this smart technology and everything behind the Amazon machine. They can see you when you walk in. They can recognise your face. They can recognise that your phone's come in, and you pick something up, and they can see when you pick something off the shelves. And they go, that was a box of cornflakes. And then you put it under your arm, you'll walk out, and they say, great, we'll pop a box of cornflakes on Ben's account. And that's done.
So what you're saying is they effectively make it impossible for you to steal from them unless you walked in without a phone.
And without a face, yes.
I love it. Thanks very much for that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Hello, Jane.
Hi, everyone. Well, actually, I'm still old-fashioned. I must admit I'm 70, so I'm the kind of person, I ordered some stuff online once, wasn't very happy with what I got. It wasn't what it was described on the internet.
Oh, okay.
And after that, I like to buy my own food because I like to feel own fruit and veg. I like to feel that they're fresh. And I shop around at 2 or 3 different stores, and I'm lucky enough to live in an area where I have an Aldi, a Coles, Woolies, and a Super IJ within about a mile. So
good.
I'm lucky enough to share, and I go and I just go and get my fresh stuff because I like to feel and know what I'm buying is fresh, and I would never, ever, ever order anything online. Sorry.
Yeah, no, there's nothing to apologise for, and that's quite okay because there's room for people to do both.
Yeah.
We're not quite at that point yet where if you want to buy something in like physical form, if you want to go down to a store, it is still an option. And I think it's going to be an option for a long time.
Yeah. I wonder how it's going to fare, though, because, I mean, the markets are going to change.
Oh, yeah.
The time's going to come. They're not going to be able to charge the same sort of rent they're doing now. It's just not going to be able to happen.
6PR's very own footy tipping is here. On 882 6PR, this is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley.
Yes, Ben Ayllett's here. By the way, if you'd like to get in contact with Ben, benaylett.com is the website. That's where you'll find all of his contact information. We always say 1 L, 2 T's in Aylett.
That's right.
Now, this is driving me nuts. I have to ask you about this. By the way, if you'd like to have a chat to Ben now, 922 118 882. Toyota launches Triad initiative.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I don't know whether somebody's going to get exterminated, run over, or a fancy schmancy new car. I can't work out which applies.
All right. Well, I was a little bit misleading there. Now, they have actually formed a company, and the company, the letters do make the word triad when you line them up, but it's Triad. So they've put a little hyphen between the two, and what it stands for is the Toyota Research Initiative Advanced Development. Now, those people that know Toyota know that Toyota relies, well, they're basically all about being reliable, and they're very conservative with their technology and very conservative with their design.
But quite upfront with it. I mean, in some respects, yes, they are conservative. But in other respects, Toyotas have always been at the forefront of development and new technology and marketing innovation and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But it's quite interesting because we don't see things like the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto baked into the Toyota.
No, they rely
models.
on Bluetooth. Is that a licensing issue, or is that because they just can't see the value in it?
I think it could be a bit of both, but I can't imagine why Apple or Android would say you've got to pay us in order to get our product into your car. I would imagine it would either be free or the other way round. So if you had a software platform and you wanted to get everyone who owned a Toyota Corolla, for example, and that's a huge market. They would definitely want
Still
to
our
say
biggest selling motor car.
Exactly. So I'd imagine Apple or Google would go along and say, here's a couple $1 million and here's a software, just make it happen, just put it into your cars. Or they'd work out some sort of a deal.
So why wouldn't it be standard? I mean, there's even upper market cars, some that don't have it. As far as I can see, it's not an absolute. It's a might not have it. Is there any explanation for that? Because, for example, Toyota not to have it really surprises me.
Yes.
They are absolutely the textbook kind of company you'd expect would have had it first.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm not too sure exactly why they do it, but getting back to the story, the Toyota Research Initiative, Advanced Development, it is actually a brand new company that Toyota has spun up. They've sunk $2.9 billion US, which is a huge amount of money in Australian dollars, just to help develop the software. And this is just the software to make self-driving cars ready for testing by the year 2020. So, and this is only a couple of years away. By 2020.
So they're looking at this even makes the whole Apple CarPlay, Android Auto thing seem even more strange. Because here's something where they're throwing money at it. I mean, I guess they know where they're ultimately going to end up.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't know how long the time frame is.
Well, we don't know exactly how long Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is going to be available for.
As long as those products exist, they'll be available in some form.
Exactly, or as long as the companies support them. So it wouldn't be strange for Google to turn around and say, Android Auto, it was fun while it lasted, we'll axe it. And this is something that they've done in the past. So
are they smart to stick with something like Bluetooth then? Because Bluetooth is a universal platform. It works on iPhone, it works on Android, it works on BlackBerry. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're running, it works.
Yeah.
You can still use it to play your music and all that sort of stuff. So have they looked at it and thought, really, all of those fancy schmancy bits aren't that essential because this will still do everything we need it to do?
Yeah, that's right. They're going for the lowest common denominator. So Bluetooth will work with everything and anything because it's basically ubiquitous. It's everywhere. And folding it into the car entertainment systems is not a bad idea at all. While you're offering that feature to your consumers, it doesn't mean you're having to tie yourself into a certain platform. So imagine...
I know in Bernadette's car there's a Bluetooth feature.
Yeah.
And I used to play tunes through Spotify.
Perfect. That's right.
And plays through the car stereo beautifully.
Yeah, it works really, really well. But, this triad program I find really exciting because a traditionally sort of conservative business that are, sure, they're pretty good with technology, but you don't see it really pushed into their work.
Well, I don't know if they're that conservative. They're pretty innovative, Toyota.
Yeah.
They're always, when it comes to new products, new ideas, new marketing ideas, they're always at the forefront. It's one of the reasons why they got to be number one.
Yeah, and that's mostly automotive technology.
But when you look at it this way, self-driving technology is just going to be a progression of automotive technology, isn't it?
Exactly.
I mean, we look at it now and go, wow, but what we're really just talking about is how the technology is going to advance.
Yeah, that's where they're trying to focus their efforts. They know that they have to get the software right because that's the bit that's going to be driving the cars down our streets. We need to know that the software is developed correctly.
There is
they are sinking heaps into it.
There is only one area that's going to be harder for them to guide than perhaps any other area, and that's going to be public acceptance. And the interesting thing is going to be, are we going to go literally from people drive to self-drive technology in one fell swoop, or are we initially going to go through a hybrid phase? My belief is we'll go through a hybrid phase.
I'd agree with you there. I'm definitely seeing a hybrid phase, so we'll probably see autonomous technology first in things like long-haul freight. So that'll be like an assistive technology for truckies. We'll also be seeing it in public transport. So we might start by seeing small reach shuttles.
Yep.
So things like shuttling people around from one part of the airport to another or across
university campuses.
University campuses is an ideal example, and then we'll see it develop from there. We'll probably see it offered in some of the top-of-the-line cars, so things like your Volvos and maybe your Porsches and your Mercedes and
Not
all
Porsche.
no,
Porsche is a fun car. If you're going to buy a car like a Porsche, you want to drive it. Mate, you're not going to pay $500,000 for a really cool car like that to have a computer drive. And I'm sorry, Hal is not going to be welcome in the Porsche.
Well, we'll probably see. We'll see. It might be an assistive technology. It may make you think
of
you're
some
still
bloke,
driving.
right? Saves up gazillions of dollars.
Yep.
Highly successful.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things they can afford to do is indulge themselves in a nice $500,000 worth of German excellence that we call a Porsche.
Yep.
Are they really going to then say, "Oh, let a machine drive it"?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, mate. If I've got a car like that, damn it, I want to drive it.
Well, just last week I've seen something even stranger. Picture a motorcycle company, one of the most well-known motorcycle companies. Who would you say?
Harley Davidson.
Okay, bang on. Harley Davidson last week announced that they are going to start producing an electric motorcycle.
They'll have to simulate the note.
Maybe they will, maybe they won't.
And they'll also have to have, I reckon, a vibrate mode on the bike, so you get the feeling of that tuk, 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 tuk. If you don't, what's the point?
If you grew up around Harleys, you know what Harleys are all about, then yes, you're going to miss that and you're still going to crave the big V-twin.
Mate,
and that's not going to change.
Harley Davidson cruising around like a two-wheel golf cart is not going to fly. They're going to have to build in the note, and I reckon they're also going to have, call it vibrate mode, so you can feel like they do when they...
That's right, yeah. They might, but we're also looking at a change in the consumer as well. So just like with online shopping, we're seeing people who are more interested in... I know. Listeners, if you could see the look on Chris's face right now.
You've got to be kidding me, haven't you?
We are seeing a change in the consumer where then they don't understand or they don't get the V-twin throb that is Harley Davidson. They won't
get Harley Davidson.
They just understand.
Anyone who doesn't get that doesn't get Harley Davidson.
Yeah. Well, there are people out there who understand Harley Davidson means motorcycle, and Harley might put out an electric Sportster or something, and they go, "Oh, cool! It's electric. It's good on the wallet. I don't have to pay for fuel. I'm not polluting the environment." Yada yada yada. Of course, I understand they completely miss the point of Harley Davidson, but my other point is we've seen stranger things.
Geez, no wonder current generations are so screwed up.
The 2018 Nissan Navara ST Dual Cab 4x4, including reverse camera and sat-nav.
Tonight with Chris Ilsley on 882 6PR.
922 11882, the telephone number if you'd like to have a chat to Ben Aylett. Our technology man, benaylett.com. Don't forget, 1L, 2 T's in Aylett, benaylett.com.
Yep.
Now, what do we got here?
Last one?
No, just something interesting. HD, this is from Daniel.
Okay.
HD, a clothing company selling obsolete bikes on the side, have been trialling their electric bike for years.
Right, I like that description.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah,
Nice.
it is. It is. I just love this. Apparently, it's in jerk mode, where it runs a subwoofer going nowhere in Sundays, and it will be essential.
Nice.
Do you think we got a sceptical comment there, or what?
Oh, I don't know. Just a little bit of salt there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now there was something else that you were talking about, the Samsung Galaxy S9.
Yes, it's coming,
Mate, there hasn't been. Has the 8 been a failure?
No, the Samsung.
The only reason I'm asking that question is because, if I'm mistaken, I think I've taken 2 breaths since they launched the S8. Or was it only 1 breath? Wow, there has not been a lot of time.
Well, if you take a breath every 365 days, then yeah, maybe.
Has it been a year?
It's been a year.
Are you serious? Oh, mate, I would have said
serious.
I would have sat here and been almost prepared to argue 6 months.
Nope. It's been a year since we've seen the Samsung Galaxy S8, and we've had the Samsung Galaxy S9 has been officially announced. They've done the big old presentation and all the singing and dancing that's happened, and it is now available for pre-order, and it's shipping on March the 12th. So you can get yourself a
Is that in Australia, is it?
That is in Australia. That is worldwide.
How, I'm going to ask you this.
Yep.
How's it going to differ from the S8?
All right.
Because there's going to have to be a difference, even if it's superficial.
Okay. When you look at them both, you'll hold the S8 up against the S9, and you'll notice that the S9 is slightly smaller on the face, which is an interesting direction, because the screen is the same size, but they've managed to squeeze it into an even smaller package. So it's almost all screen, and the bezels are really, really thin. So that's really good. But what I really like about the change in size is that they've made it a little bit wider by about 0.5 millimetre, and they've made it thicker by 0.5 millimetre, which I think is something we needed to do because the phone's been getting ridiculously thin, where you might sit down with them in your jeans pocket and you fold them over because they're so thin. So that's really good. And I think it's also a safety thing, looking from the battery side of things. When you're trying to get a battery into such a small space, we have the risk of things like the Galaxy S7 hand grenade edition. So it's something that I welcome.
Do you think they've learnt from the S7?
Absolutely, yes. If they haven't learned anything from the F7...
Someone wrote, mistake we will never make again.
Yes, that's right. Don't do that. Yeah. Big red.
Because I know the Galaxy 7, mate of mine had one of those, had to hand it in. Honestly, mate, he just about had a funeral for it. He said, I so don't want to hand this in. He said to me, do you know how good this phone is? It's like, do you know how good this phone is? Yes, but they recalled it. Yes, I know, but I don't want to hand it in.
Yeah.
That's how much he liked it.
It is crushing. So the Galaxy Note consumers are among the most dedicated consumers to their particular phone. And I'm not talking just Samsung.
Pretty awesome.
I'm talking the Samsung Galaxy Note. They are a fantastic phone. Yes.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Mind you, the S8 Note appears to have proved quite reliable.
It has. And
none
I'm looking
of the
forward
issues
to
of
seeing
its
the 9.
predecessor.
Yeah. So the 9 should be just as good, if not better. Look, getting back to the display, it is still a 5.8-inch screen, and it's using OLED displays. And it's 1440 by 1080, so it's still a high-definition screen. It is 20% brighter. It's got better colour, and they've actually made the screen less reflective. So you'll be getting less reflections on the screen, meaning when you go outside into a bright environment, you're not going to be trying to squint through the glare, which is really excellent. I'm glad to hear about that. The camera, it's a dual aperture 12-megapixel sensor, which means it's a good camera, but it's also got some interesting tricks it can play with its dual aperture. So it can really mess with things like depth of field. And one of the nice features is that you can go into a full pro mode where you can mess around with the settings as much as you like. So you can go absolutely nuts, and it's got the sort of flexibility as a high-end digital SLR camera.
When it comes to your premium smartphones, it really is a battle between the Samsung Galaxy and the iPhone, isn't it? It's a case of pick whichever one floats your boat.
Yep.
But if you've decided you like the Galaxy, then you'll tend to go that way.
That's right.
If you've decided you like the iPhone, you'll go that way. But really, when we're talking about premium smartphones, we're really talking about either a Samsung or an iPhone, aren't we?
They are the big heavy hitters, but there's also a very strong following for the Google Pixel, which is also a fantastic phone. And even Huawei is coming out with some really nice phones as well at a decent price. Okay, so one last thing about the camera. This one has got a really super slow-mo mode where it'll capture 960 frames per second and then it'll play back at normal speed. So I can take 0.2 of a second and extend it out to 6 seconds. So there's some amazing slow-mo stuff you can do there.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really awesome. So it's more than just seeing someone run in slow motion on a beach. This is more something like capturing a balloon bursting or...
and actually seeing what happens.
Yeah. Just really, really cool stuff.
The other thing about all this too, I suppose, that I hadn't really considered until we're talking about it just now, I guess if you want something that's pretty close to up-to-date, you're looking for a bargain, I kind of imagine there's going to be some pretty good deals on S8s floating around.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you've got an aging S5 or an S6 or a different phone, you want to try a Galaxy S8, there's going to be some good deals coming up in the next couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah. And they're a pretty good phone, the S8?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Especially if you manage to buy it brand new as old stock, you'll be getting a cracking phone and it'll be a great price too.
Always seems to be the way.
Yep.
Now, we know at one stage Apple admitted that they'd slowed down the operation of their older phones to encourage customers to upgrade. Has there been any suggestions that our friends from South Korea have indulged in the same practice?
No records as yet. It hasn't been nearly, if it's happened, it hasn't been covered nearly as much as the Apple deal.
If it had happened, trust me, there would have been something around a bit.
There would have been
too many people to talk nowadays. You can't keep them quiet.
Yeah, that's very true. So it's very hard, well, because of the internet, it's hard to keep anything a secret. Whether you're a teenager or a massive multinational, you can't keep it under wrapper.
Not anymore. You can't. As always, Ben, thank you very much for your time.
Always fun.
We'll have a chat next week. By the way, if you'd like to get in contact with Ben, it's benaylett.com. That's where you'll find the website with all the contact information. As I said before, 1L, 2 T's in Aylett.
6PR's very own footy tipping is here. And there's